My fellow cavers, the meeting is about to start. Mr. Vice Chair, would you please call the time?
7:09.
7:09. Welcome everybody to the March 2023 members meeting of the Dogwood City Grotto. I am stoked that you are here. We have a program from a BNC tonight, so turn out to disappoint.
Glad
Yeah.
you'll laugh.
I thought you'd like that. Let's go ahead and get the officer reports out of the way real fast. Mr. Lambie, what do you have for the vice chair?
I just helped our trip coordinator, Jordan Overton, a little bit with trips on the website, but that's about it.
Excellent. Roger, what have you got for the treasurer?
I'm right here. We're doing good. Anybody who's camping down there, you owe me $5 a night. Please see me and give it to me. I'll take it cash, credit card, or check.
Okay, or
I have
PayPal.
enough change to give change. And anybody who wants to take news or anything else like that, let me know. We can take care of that tonight too.
Hey, Roger, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Hey, when do you put out the financial statement
Actually,
for the grotto?
we have not, but I was talking to Joe about that the other day. The next meeting, we're gonna do that as well as get the budget out.
Okay, good. I'd like to see it. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, did Ms. Reeve leave a report with anyone?
So,
Okay. Mickey, what have you got for corresponding secretary and Georgia Underground?
Georgia Underground should be up and out probably within the next 2 weeks, or probably less, for the spring edition, and I'm really excited about it. We have a lot of great contributors. Dane is one of them. He's BNC now, you know. Yep, so there's that. We're gonna be taking submissions for the summer edition of the Georgia Underground. So please, any trip reports, year reviews, photos, things like that, please send them to me. If you don't have my email address, we can get it to you. And then from today's cleanup at Guppy, the landowner was very, very happy. We got so much done. She was super stoked. James Levine from Huntsville Grotto, he's the vice chair of trips over there or something like that. He was super happy with the turnout as well. And he's also going to be leading trips back there tomorrow. So if anybody is without a caving trip tomorrow and you'd like to go to Guppy Cave and see more of it, they're meeting at 9:30 Central, so 10:30 Eastern tomorrow at Guppy Cave. Haven't checked the mail recently. I think that's it.
Cool. Anna, what you got for public relations?
We have grotto t-shirts for $30 if anyone is interested. And if anyone camped Friday, you'll need to sign up on this list. And if you're camping tonight, you need to also sign up on the list. They said that there are discounts for commercial tours here at the tavern. So if you're interested, you can sign up on here. And they want a list of all that by tonight. So if you are interested, sign up. Yeah, I think she said 10 a.m., 12 noon, so, yeah. That's all.
Okay. Let's see. As far as the chair report is concerned, okay, so tonight, I have to say that Cathedral Caverns has been extraordinarily accommodating for us tonight. We actually have a member of their staff here on overtime so that we are able to use the pavilion tonight. So I want everybody to show them lots of love because they didn't have to go out of their way like that. I told them that we'd be done at 8:30 Eastern, which is 7:30 Central. So we won't be taking perhaps quite as much leisure time tonight. Anyway, moving right along. Committee reports. Jordan, what have you got for trip coordinator?
March is busy. We have several trips on the calendar. We have a trip led by Mickey Manning tomorrow to Kennemer. We have you, Joe, leading a trip to Shelter Cave.
Get in the shelter.
That's an exploration. I believe it's an exploration because you've never been, right?
I'm a caver, yo.
At your own risk.
the way it is anyway.
And we have a hurricane trip going out led by Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so I did receive a report from our Caven chair, who is Christine Ebry, president of the NSS. I love to scream that every chance I get. Let's see. Well, I sent you the Caven status report. That means she emailed it to me.
We only have till 7:30. Joke, find it. I'm just kidding.
Like OMG. I got caught with my pants down here.
Uh-oh.
Let's see here. Somebody tell a funny story. Who went caving?
Oh, where'd you go?
Bernie has maybe
Awesome.
It was,
Long trip?
no, it was a commercial cave sort of, but we were happy to go. It was Guns, Plains, cave,
Guns, planes.
not too far from Bernie, in a rural area.
Oh,
And that was fun. And,
how was it different than tag cave?
Handrails, walkway.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun to see very-
That's so cool.
Didn't need any cave lights or helmets.
Well, we should have brought some.
Should have had some.
They didn't have a lot of lights, which I applaud them for that.
Yeah. Well, that's what a cool experience.
Oh, look, I found the Cave-In Chairs report. Okay, so she mixes in some business with a pleasure. Wait, that sounds wrong. Anyway, plans, finalize the 23 tag fall Cave-In budget by March 15th. Reach out to previous committee chairs on potentially filling the roles again for 2023. Insert an ad for 2023 tag fall Cave-In in the NSS news and add the event to the NSS calendar. Submit a report of the registration options based on the NSS phone call under progress. Under progress, we have Amber Lehman has accepted the position to craft the Cave-In logo. I presented 3 registration options. We've completed a phone call with the NSS IT. So these are things that have either been completed or are in progress. And as far as tag fall registration is concerned, the policy is to have registration open by June, and so help me God, by hook or by crook, it's going to be open June 1st. Look for it. That's what I said, not what she said, but she's saying it too. Anyway, what's next here? Let's see. So now that the committee reports are out of the way, I wanted to go through some acknowledgements here real quick. Wanted to thank Mickey and Anna for setting up the joint project with Huntsville. What a great idea. And once again, special thanks to Taverns for being such incredibly gracious hosts. And so, are there any other acknowledgements we need to toss out there?
Forgot about a trip tomorrow to Limrock, led by Matt and Joel. And there's actually one space left, so if someone else doesn't have a trip for tomorrow.
What are levels maybe up a little bit?
I believe they have a backup plan.
Okay.
So Jordan,
Yes.
real quick note on the SCCI system. As the person who pulled the permit, you are able to reduce the number, reduce the head count on the permit itself in order to get it released.
I did that and it is approved.
And it got approved?
Yes,
Ugh. Right on.
we're correct.
I'm not gonna tell you what I had to go through the last time. It involved an adjustable wrench. Okay, so who's celebrating a birthday in March? What?
Nancy just did, but she's down at this
Aw.
campsite.
Oh.
So she has a March birthday.
March 1st.
This is obligatory.
When she's not here, we're not gonna sing it to somebody that's not here, Joe. I like your spirit, though.
Joe, just go down and find her and sing it to her. She would be really appreciative.
You know what? I might just do that before I leave.
Let's try to get that
Okay.
recorded.
So, is there any old or new business that we need to throw out there before we get to the fun part?
Oh, one question, are we doing any kind of door prizes tonight?
We do not have door prizes that I'm aware of.
Okay, I brought, if anybody's interested, these are, from your DCG library. These are, I mean, we have a lot of older copies of the, George Underground, some back to the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And there's about 20 of them here. We can just give them out to people who want them. We can give them as a door prize. I don't know.
What age years are they?
It's a mix anywhere from like late or early 80s to mid 90s. Your face is on one the cover of one.
Okay.
I want that one.
Get that one so nobody uses it
They
for a
can
dartboard.
sign it.
Oh,
Anyway,
That you.
yeah, that's me.
That's it.
okay. Can we put those on the table and people can just pick them up as they wish? Okay.
Thank you.
Back in the good old days.
I'll put them right here. These, so we have other copies of these in the library, so these are all extras, so please take them home. Most of these, if not all of them, are actually available on the NSS web or right website as well. But I think it's kind of nice to have, you know,
If you don't take them tonight, we will charge for them at the grotto auction. Bear that in mind.
No.
which,
Okay.
Chuck Canfield took that tonight.
What cave was it in C?
Tate Cave.
Oh, okay,
We were pushing. No,
Yes.
yeah, it was Tate, yeah, it is.
All right. Who's ready for the program? Anna, call them out.
Right, this is, Dane Garreau. He is a project paver here in Tag. Mapper, he's a recent recipient of the Richard Schreiber Award. He's gonna be presenting on Hurt Tree Pit, a project that took many trips. So, thank you for being here. Dane.
Okay, thanks everyone for being here.
Please share your screen. and the
Oh,
floor
yes,
is yours.
yes. Okay, sharing screen. While I'm doing this, I'll just tell you, I'm just the guy who did the map. Everyone else did the hard work in the cave.
Thought mapping was hard work.
It is for everyone else that pushed packages and all that good stuff.
Hey, you had that horrible wind feeder that nobody was scared about.
Oh, yeah, well, actually, I'll talk more about that, but Anna actually pushed that. It's fine.
Who did?
You did.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Can we get you to face us?
yes,
Somebody to push your buttons?
yes. All right,
But
let's
you don't wanna
see.
the back.
Can everyone see it? Am I in the replay? Oh, this will be good.
I'll see if I can.
You want me to push buttons?
Actually, I can get that. All right, this is the entrance of Hurt Tree Pit. That's actually Riley Drake there. It's a big, nice, open air pit. Really quite a grand entrance. It was found in the early 80s by Jim Smith and Jill Dorman. They scooped the main part of it, and then Marion Smith came back later and scooped the rest of it. They got stopped by a wet pit. Third trip, Jim and Marion came back with the third wet pit and thought they had found pretty much all of the cave.
Again, with scooping.
They didn't survey anything, so which was very, very common in Tag and unfortunately still is.
Okay, so you like go in your cave, but
They
you
just
don't
did
make
the whole
maps.
cave and, didn't record anything. But it was pretty common back then with so much to find. It was surveyed eventually in the early 2000s. Andy was on one of those trips.
and we apparently missed a whole lot of the cave.
And they also missed a whole lot of cave. However, when myself, Alex, Stavo, James, when we went back, Andy had told us, he said, hey, there's a pretty good fault lead that you should really take a look at. And so we did, and I'll get more into that. It's a little hard to see the detail, but that's Mateo next to the recrystallized crystals. Andy, how are those formed?
So this is similar to the big fault line in Ellison's Cave where the limestone actually slid one way or the other, and it actually got hot enough that it melted the rock. And it's hard to tell how long ago that happened, but then it recrystallized, and you can actually see these. You'll probably have some pictures of them, but the rock actually got hot enough to melt and then re-solidified into something a little bit different.
And so these crystals are present almost the entire fault, which, I don't know, 3/4 of the cave is formed in the fault. So pretty interesting. And if you've been to Ellison's, you've seen some of these crystals. So, okay, there we go. Yeah, so Andy gave us this. One more. Okay. Yes. All right, Andy gave us this lead. On the right, you can see James Hoffman. He's about to go down. He's done the entrance pit, and now there's a 54-foot pit. And for years, everyone had just gone straight down because they're trying to go as deep as you can in the cave. Well, you can see the picture on the left. I didn't go straight down, and it wasn't me who did this. This was Alex who did it. We didn't go straight down. We went about halfway down, got off on a nice ledge, and Alex found a whole bunch of cave.
It was on the first trip that we were there, and like they were all climbing out. I had a rope like fall apart in the crawl coming out, so I stopped and like recoiled it, and so I ended up being in the back waiting for everyone else to climb out. And I was like, I don't want to wait for them to climb out. Andy talked about this lead. I'm here. I can't get out of the cave any faster, so I'm gonna go check it out. And so like I just had my ascenders and like backed up across the traverse line and eventually got to a hole in the ground and just started throwing rocks, and like 2 seconds it took to fall down there. So I was super excited about that.
And so this was it's either beginning of February, end of January. It was really cold. If you cave with me, you know I don't really get cold in caves usually. I was absolutely freezing in this cave. The wet 82-foot pit was very wet and just cold air. Gustavo got out of the cave. He changed clothes. I was up the entrance series, and Alex was like, well, I'm going to look at this. And so I thought, okay, let me just kind of pause and wait. And Alex is like, he's like, it's a pit. There's a pit. There's a pit. Come back down. So Gustavo came back down in his clean, dry clothes, I think. So, and then we all went and did what is a really nice pit. It's called Ember Crystal Chasm. It's 126 feet. A couple weekends ago, Monk came all the way from Maryland to do it. As he was going down the pit, he said, if this is the last pit I ever do, I'll be tickled pink. So, yes. So on the left, you can see it from the bottom looking up, and you can actually see the big fault in the ceiling. And on the right is Gustavo right there at the top of it. It's got humble beginnings, but it does get pretty big. So we found this and decided we would resurvey the cave to get all of this in the current survey.
Was that separate from already known?
It was virgin, yes, but it landed in a known part of the cave. But the pit itself was virgin. The traverse was virgin. Yes. So on a survey trip, Anna pushed a known part of the cave that was not indicated as a lead on the map, and we got to this really nice waterfall. We had to do some pretty nasty, squeezy stuff to get to it, and so we had split into 2 teams. On this particular trip, surveying, it was just me and Gustavo. We were going to survey the passage at the top of this waterfall, which is pretty tight. And Alex and Chris Whitlaw and Mateo went to do a fault lead. So instead of doing the Amber Crystal Chasm, there's another fault lead that keeps going about 25 feet down. So it was supposed to take them all day. Me and Gustavo are in this. We got 100 foot of virgin, fought for every inch of it. Lots of squeezes. Neither of us are small, and we were digging out the gravel on the floor to make room.
So y'all went up the
Yes,
waterfall.
yes. So we got up the waterfall, which was actually quite sketchy and tricky.
Really?
Yes. And then getting
was
down was tough too. It was easy for me because Gustavo had a hand line at the top holding it for me. But there was no one holding anything for him, but I was underneath him a little bit. So we got 100 foot of virgin, but Alex and his crew got a lot. So
Chris had this big elaborate plan or whatever. He had like screws. We were gonna put the screws in, see if it went, and like then get across. And you have to use like an impact driver to do the screws. So I went over there with the impact driver. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna do bolts. So I got bolts and like put one bolt in halfway across, and like I could get all the way over. and I just like one bolt is like 25 feet across though, and it's like barely the walls are hard to get across on, but I got across and started running down the passage that way. It just kept going and going, and I was like, well, this seems like it's just gonna die and like not go anywhere. But of course, at the end of it, there's like a pit, of course. So threw down the rocks in the pit, and I ran back to them, and I was like, guys, there's some more another pit. We need to go bolt it. So we went and added a bunch of bolts out there, and is the next slide the name of the room? Should I say that?
I don't know if it's, no, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a successful traverse there. We didn't really have to do much like it wasn't very difficult to do. I just put one bolt in there and kind of replayed off that bolt, and I was able to get myself all the way across to the new passage.
Yeah, it takes a pretty good little J-hang and some pretty acrobatic on-road maneuver to get across this. So don't let Alex undersell it. No. We did a total of 13 days of survey to get the cave surveyed. We did 2 camp trips. On the left is Mateo coming out of the last one, looking very rough. On the right is where we camped at. You can see Alex is in his green sleeping bag. I'm standing up, and then the sort of bunk bed area is where Mateo slept one night on one, and Carson Major slept there on another camp trip.
What's all in Mateo's bags?
That's like there's so many ropes to do the cave. Bolting, sleeping bag, everything, because you're bringing everything in. But it's actually a nice cave to camp in because you're dry. So, and which I think it's the premier tag multi-drop to do when it's really wet outside, because you can do the whole cave and stay dry. So you don't have to do that wet 82 foot pit.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. When I went in, I was like,
Yeah.
is it still a relay to a redirect to a relay?
Yeah. There's then lots more things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we did do camp trips in there. That was my first time camping in a cave. Alex, your first time too?
I think it was.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think Mateo had done some before.
He probably had.
Yeah, but Carson hadn't either. So
Yeah.
we learned a lot. It was fun. Good
That
times.
was
Yeah.
the second time he came in.
Jane wearing like
No, no.
clothes, not shorts.
Yeah. Well, it's cold in the cave. So, but yeah, I did bring in like dry clothes. Yeah, one of the
Like a
camp
jacket
trips.
even. Oh,
But Mateo and Alex went in one day and they went ahead and camped, and then I came in the next day solo to meet up with them. And I think we caved and surveyed until 1 a.m. Got to sleep at 2, and then slept until noon. Because you can sleep for so long in a cave because it's pitch dark. So, yeah. There are 3 very big domes in the cave. None of them have been climbed to the very tip top. So they probably won't go. So if you're into that kind of thing, get welcome to it. My favorite story is the above it dome, and that's what you see pictured. Kyle Davis, me, and Gustavo. Yeah, Gustavo. In the group chat, we had a big group chat. We talk about the trips and everything, and Andy was like, what's left? And there was this sort of high fault lead, and Mateo, how he talks, he goes, the above it. That's the only thing that's left. The above it. So we did the high fault lead, and we ended up finding this really, really nice 182-foot dome, the above it dome. And yeah, so there's some big domes in there.
That was really interesting to get to.
It was really amazing. Okay, Andy Calvert took these pictures of the crystals at the very bottom of the cave, which was still one of the. I've never had to pull over on the side of the road going home from a cave trip until this trip.
we're so tired.
We had surveyed really hard Saturday, left the cave rigged. Andy and Mickey met us for the second day on Sunday, caved really hard, got to the bottom of the cave, got to the sump, and I actually had to pull over on the side of the road and take a quick 5-minute nap. But these are the crystals, like little selfies with them. They're
So beautiful.
quite nice at the bottom of the cave. All right, have you counted the number of aid climbs and traverses, Alex?
In that cave?
Yes, I should have counted them.
I mean, like there were a lot, like there's the traverse over the 126 count because like
Yes.
Yeah, well, I did that one, right?
First one,
And
one
then we did
26.
over the Princess Palace,
Yes.
and then at the bottom of the Princess Palace room, I had to traverse around the corner of Fifth and Bolton so you could get across
Yes.
there. And then I had to do it to get to the above it dome. I had to do it, to get across to the upstream of that passage.
Yes.
We had to do the
Fake
fake
bolt
bolt climb, and then we had all of the ones at the bottom.
So there's like a dozen aid climbs and traverses that were done by Alex and Mateo. So the cave would not be as long as it is without them, you know, hauling in all the gear, all the bolting, all the drills, all the ropes. So, all right, the old map showed 323 feet of depth and a little over 800 feet of length. And once we're done surveying it, we quadrupled the length. The surveyed length is really big because there are so many ups and downs. So almost 1,000 more feet of surveyed length than the actual horizontal length. And we did get deeper in the cave. This is actually how a lot of the passage looks. That's actually not in the fault, but that's how it is somewhere too. It's sort of tight-ish, kind of.
That's an interesting spot because that's the above it
Yes.
area.
Yep.
So like you're wedged in the canyon there, and then you go down like if you go down 10 feet, you can't really fit. But it opens up into the Princess Palace, and so it's a giant room below there. And we discovered that later, and so we're going out there, and there's rocks. You knock the rock down, and we came back to the Princess Palace later, and all the rocks that we knocked out of the ceiling, it just like went.
So they're all like in a line where we
Yeah.
came around. So it was kind of neat. Yeah. This is the old map, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I'm actually going to come up here so you can see.
See Zelda thing.
This is the traverse lead that Andy had told us about, and it was indicated on the map. And that's what we did. So,
Oh, yeah. but it's something else.
yeah, you're gonna see it, but you won't be able to see any detail on this.
TK mat.
No, it was a
It was David Cole.
David Cole map. Yes. And this is the new map. You can't see any detail on there, but if you go to the ACS meeting, it should be displayed there, and Alex will be giving a presentation on the cave there. So,
And the guidebook.
oh yes, and there's gonna be yes, I will have that ready for your guidebook.
Oh, so excited.
So, special thanks to DCG for approving my bolts request from last year, and Steve, who supplied many more than that. This cave absolutely ate bolts up because there are so many traverses and aid climbs and pits.
You have any idea how many, not bolts for exploration, but bolts that are just rigged, permanently rigged? You know how many, you have an idea how many you have in there?
I have it on the profile. I can't see it here, but yes, I have all the rigging on the profile, and I could go up and count them.
30 or so?
Possibly 20, probably 20 something. Stainless steel, permanently rigged. We removed a lot of bolts from areas that we thought just no one was going to ever go to again. So we removed those. This is the fake bolt climb. Alex, you want to talk about that? Yes.
Yeah, that was, no, I was like, I don't know, bro. We did do it.
Yeah, so we after finding like the Princess Palace room, I was like being a princess. I was like, we need to get this thing bolted or whatever. We bolted that, came back, mapped it all. We did the swan dive pit was after the Princess Palace pit, and you do like a little crawl and like you're immediately into the pit room and it all slopes down the pit. And so we put like bolts in the ceiling so you can traverse out to the actual drop off. And down at the bottom, like you can see the fault perfectly, and you go in like the downstream direction, and it just like narrows up, and it's so narrow right there, you can't fit through. You can kind of like here, I think you can kind of fit in this spot, but like there, it's way too narrow. And I think that's like Dane on the other side. And there's like a little bit of like an outlet right here, and so like, I kind of like shoved myself in there and like chimneyed up at the top. And I couldn't actually get to the very top of it. The bolts and we put ropes, you can climb up, and then you go over and then down the other side. And I guess like the fault kind of just squeezed together and didn't. I'm not sure why it just got so narrow there, but you were unable to fit the middle. So, but once we did that fake bolt climb, it's fake because we didn't really have to do a bolt climb. We kind of did.
Alex is underselling it, by the way. It's a 30-foot chimney up there, and to even when you're on rope, I mean, like you can't take a full frog stroke. You have to do just tiny little things because you're really, really, really wedged in. And then you get to the top where there are bolts that Alex put, and it's extremely awkward. There's one or two rocks that are sort of wedged in there that you can stand on and get over, and then going down, it's still